Hello, you're welcome to the program Know Yourself. Today, too, we have such an exciting topic to discuss with you. For the past weeks, we have managed to help you understand abusive relationship. We talked about abuse and abusive relationships. And during the time, we have traveled you through the types and numerous forms of abusive relationship that we have, the abuse that we have, the physical, the verbal, the psychological, emotional, domestic, among others. And then we also talked about the signs of abusive relationship. Today we're going to talk about effects of abusive relationships. Indeed, many people who find themselves in an abusive relationship do not realize how damaging it can be. And I am sure that if your relationship is characterized by emotional, psychological, physical abuse, or any form of it, you should know that all of them come into play to affect your general well-being. It really affects the quality of your life and your general well-being. And so, as we talked about, we're going to talk about effects of abusive relationship. Once you understand it, you will know the potential consequence of being in an abusive relationship. Once you know and you acknowledge the importance of remaining in an abusive relationship, then you can take an informed decision either to change or leave such a relationship or seek help as far as it can help you in your subsequent relationships. And so the very first one that we're going to talk about, the effects of remaining in an abusive relationship, is what we call the physical damage. Now, anytime you are in a relationship that is abusive, one of the effects is that physically it affects you. It can result in temporal pain, long-term injuries, and possibly death. Yes. Physically, if someone is abusing you, it can affect you. The person can hit your head against something. The person can throw you down. Even the emotional one, the psychological one, they all come together to affect you physically. And I am saying ultimately it can also kill you. So at times you sustain some bruises, some broken bones, among others. These are some common immediate results of physical aggression when you are faced in, you find yourself in such a relationship. Honestly, ongoing problems, if you have not gone through the extremes as I've described, the ongoing one could include terms headaches, can have some gynecological or gynecological issues, back pain, or maybe digestive problems. These are some of the physical damaging effects that an abusive relationship can have on you. And we also have what you call the physiological or psychological and emotional turmoil. Apart from having the physical damage, we can also have psychological and emotional issues. Indeed, abuse can increase your chance of suffering from depression, having some suicidal thoughts or ideations, post-traumatic stress disorder, or substance abuse. Because as we established in our previous presentation, realize that psychologically, the person abuses you, plays with your emotions, and it affects not only emotionally, it affects your way of thinking and your general well-being. In that case, I'm saying that you keep asking yourself, why did you find yourself in such a relationship? And the thought of it could help you, could lead you to be depressed. At times, you even think that it is not worth it for you to stay or live. And so you start having some suicidal suicidal ideations or thoughts. And at times, even when you are treated, you will still come back to go through some of these disorders. And that is what we have, the post-traumatic stress disorders. At times you feel so stressed up in that relationship. So it is important to remember that even though the psychological and emotional consequences of abuse cannot be physically seen, they can be equally or more harmful to your well-being. It can lead to you having some BP. If you do have it already, it can increase it. And finally, it will land you in trouble. Then another effect of abusive relationship is what you call social impairments. And when you find yourself in such a relationship, it forces you to go through some kind of challenges socially. So forced social isolation, it could be a form of abuse characterized by keeping you as a victim away from friends or family members who can potentially help you. Even without this direct attempt to disconnect you from social contact, abuse can interfere in other ways, as the physical and psychological consequences of abuse can make you feel unsure of yourself or awkward in social situations. Victims also commonly experience embarrassment or guilt, among other things. And all of these can deter you from interacting with others. So socially, you may not even feel like interacting with people, and you want to isolate yourself from people. And we want to bring you the last but one effects of abusive relationship. We talked about physical damaging. You also talked about psychological, emotional turmoil, and we've talked about social impairment. I want to also let you know that it may be a harm to your children. Witnessing violence can increase the chances that your child may display behavioral, social, emotional, or cognitive problems. The child witnesses it, sees it in the house when either the man is abusing the woman or the woman is abusing the man. The child witnesses it, and I'm saying that it could have effect on the child. Exposure to abuse can also result in your child believing abuse and violence are acceptable responses to conflict. And this is backed by an authority by name Judith McFarland and her colleagues in an article they published titled in the Journal of Pediatrics. You should also remember that abuse may eventually be directed towards your child, even if it is not in the beginning. Then lastly, I want to let you know that, yes, if you stay in an abusive relationship, the two of you who are listening to me and you are experiencing it, it could happen to a man, it could happen to a woman. When you stay in that relationship, if your relationship is characterized by abusive ideations and then signs as we have discussed, finally and ultimately, after all things have been tried and it's not working, I want you to know that it could make you lose that relationship. You may have a breakup. That will be the final and ultimate. And as I've already indicated, it will cost you your life. You can die. You can attract some unnecessary diseases. And finally, it's if you are lucky, the relationship will break up because you don't feel comfortable seeing your partner. You don't feel comfortable meeting your spouse. And in that case, the ultimate thing is for you to seek divorce if you are married. And if it is a relationship leading to marriage and you see some of these things happening, I want to tell you that person, after going through some of these experiences, having witnessed some of these presentations, will not keep staying in that relationship. You may end up losing your partner in terms of the relationship coming to an end. And so today we only talked shortly about the effect of abusive relationships. As I've already talked, by way of recapping what we have gone through, we have said that abusive relationship, the effect could be physical damage. 2, it may have some psychological and emotional turmoil. And we also said some social impairments. And he has also talked about the fact that it could have some harm on your children. And finally, you will end up divorcing or breaking up. Thank you so much today too. We want to encourage you that once you have listened to the content, subscribe. When you finish, subscribe and share so others can receive content from us. Please hit the button anytime that you subscribe. Thank you so much. We hope to bring you more insightful contents. Bye-bye.